TikTok, and what else? Instagram maybe. Okay, and I must be wondering what are we doing. Okay, basically me and my team, right? We are actually real estate agents that we do a lot of advisory work for people. They say, hey John, then today is what? Today is called what? Estate planning. But this guy with crutches also on the come. See how serious? Yeah. Sit down.
He's near the end. That's why.
Sorry?
He's near the end. He's near the
Yeah.
end. He's the
Okay. Right. So you must be wondering then how come real estate talk about estate planning? Okay, because in all the real estate groups, right, there's a lot of talks out there. People tell you how to buy property, correct? They tell how to sell property, correct? But did they tell you how to pass property to the next generation? No? Didn't, right? So you see, we accumulate so much in our life, our asset, our cash, our CPF, our stocks, whatever, and especially property is one of our biggest assets in Singapore, most of Singaporeans. But we never talk about how to inherit, correct? How to pass on. So in my line of work, when I started to know about estate planning, I've actually learned a lot from the speaker today, which is Wong, right? Very renowned, very if you say his name in the estate planning, people will know him, right? I've seen him in action before, okay, including in Indonesia. Okay, in Indonesia, I think I go there, everyone say, hey, please teach me, please help me out. He teach people like the private bankers and all about estate planning. So today is really how say he give me a lot of praise lah. Okay, I must buy him a lot of dinner, right? Before he come and speak free for you all. Right. So with this, I think usually people encourage me to say thank you, John. This evening we'll wait about maybe 1 or 2 minutes. Okay, the reason being, I think some of them are really rushing now. Okay, they really want to hear about what Alan want to say. And I believe this is one of the very few, or have I heard any other real estate talk that talk about estate? I don't think so. And I'm not the one speaking. Okay, if Alan want to share some of my real estate experience about real case about estate planning pitfalls, I can come and tell you what happened. Okay, but other than that, most of the sharing will be done by Alan. Okay, he's the one who see in real time how the rich people do things, how problems can be solved using estate planning tools and all that. Right?
Okay, good evening everyone.
Good evening.
Okay, welcome to today's session. Will your property be a gift or a burden? Okay, I think a lot of people want to find out whether your property, one of your biggest asset that you're going to leave behind, will it be a gift or a burden, which I'm going to share with you. Okay, without further ado, let's start. Now, before I start, let me show you a video clip, okay, by this channel U. Okay, it's an old video clip. Let me just show you this clip before I start. I need to apologize, it will be in Mandarin, but there's English subtitle. Okay, let me just show this video to you all first before I start.
我是大哥，我叫国昌，他是弟弟叫国胜。你父亲留下了遗嘱，我就是遗嘱的执行人。ข้าพเจ้าพันโชเฉินได้จะทำพินัยกรรมฉบับนี้โดยประกาศว่าทรัพย์สินทั้งหมดพินัยกรรมฉบับที่ทรัพย์สินทั้งหมดที่เป็นส่วนตัว有没有中文的？没有，我可以念英文的。
没关系，你只要告诉我们老爸到底留多少钱给我们。
ประมาณ5 ล้านบาท English good ครับ You have 5 million
5 million? What?
$
5 million?
Singapore dollar
有了500万，我要开一家全新加坡最大间的装修公司。有了500万，我就给自己的德式车队。有了钱为什么要讲德式？有了钱，我跟我老婆离婚。不对啊，我以前跟她离婚了。有了钱，我什么事都不用做，到处旅行啊。对，有钱不怕没有女人嘛。怎么样？痛吗？真的感觉到你的感觉到没有？
Can I ask you, do you agree with me that the next generation will be this similar to these two individuals. Guarantee millionaire. Do you all agree with me now?
Yes.
The next generation, the lucky few, the born at the right place. Do you all agree with me? Just an average household in Singapore. Alright, you talk about HDB, you don't even talk about private, like HDB only. Right? Smelly only 1 million maybe now today, HDB. Then plus the father, mother leave behind insurance policy, CPF. But don't tell me they will not be millionaire. Confirm already. It's guaranteed the next generation, your children confirm will be a millionaire. So now the next question we want to address is whether will it be a gift to them or will it be a burden to them? Okay? Alright, let's go. Now, let me do a short introduction of me first. Okay, let me just do a short introduction. Okay, I'm Alan Wong. I have a professional qualification. TEP stands for Trust and Estate Practitioner. Alright, it's recognized in the world. It's issued by STEP, the global body for trust and estate planning. Alright, and I started this company 13 years ago called W3 Consultancy Private Limited. I'm the principal consultant of W3. W3 stands for Wealth Without Worries. Because after 30 years in the financial industry, I realized a lot of people, after they accumulate a lot of wealth, they have this concern. If something happened to me, how will my kids inherit all this? Can they handle it? Alright, so they always have this concern. So whoever I cross paths with, what I want to achieve is this: address their concern and bring their worries away. That's the reason why 13 years ago, I started W3 Consultancy Private Limited. Now, in W3, we only focus on three things, just three things. Okay, that's why W3, everything all three one. Okay, all right. Okay, first thing is advisory. All right, so we advise customers on things relating to estate planning, how to preserve their wealth, how to plan for their will, how to plan a trust, how to plan their LPA, how to do business succession if they have run a business. So the first thing we do is advisory for. All right, advisory. Now, second thing is training, right? So as I think John have mentioned, I conduct training in the area of estate planning. At the same time, I certify estate planner. So those people who actually have come across or cross pathway that says they are estate planner, most likely they are certified by us. Okay, I and my partner Precept Group, all right, actually certified estate planner in Singapore. So our certification is issued by MAS, they approve our training, and then we certify estate planner here in Singapore. I myself probably could have certified 3,000 estate planner in Singapore alone. Not just excluding this region, just Singapore alone is 3,000. All right, so that is training. I also train the private bankers on things relating to estate planning, all right, and business succession. Okay, training, and then lastly speaking. Okay, so I'm engaged by insurance company, private banks to actually travel around this region to talk to them, to organize seminars to talk about things relating to estate planning and business succession. So day in, day out, I just focus on estate planning. So I only brief estate planning, day in, day out. Alright, so that is the area of my expertise. Disclaimer, I'm going to share many things with you guys. Whatever I share, please do not just listen and then apply straight away. Okay, please seek proper advice. Okay, so I'm not responsible if you make any mistake. Okay, after today, so I already protect myself by showing a disclaimer. So take note of that. Now, if you have any question, maybe you can actually talk to the person who have actually invited you. They have already attended some of my program. Okay, you can talk to them. If not, you can actually come to me later. If you have some question that you want to ask me.
Can I ask a question? Are you a lawyer?
I'm not a lawyer.
Okay, so even if we came to you to discuss, for advisory work, to discuss the planning, still to do the will, I have to go to my own lawyer?
No, our back end, the Precept Group will be the one doing the will writing, the trust set up for you guys. Okay, next. Okay, so as I mentioned, the great wealth transfer. Now, can I ask you guys, alright, as I mentioned, the next generation confirmed millionaire. Can I ask you one question? Okay, because the pioneer generation and the merdeka generation is the one that have really built the wealth. And then some of you belongs to that generation. And you're going to pass over this wealth to the next generation. Can I ask you, can I just do a test? How much do you think would that be? What is the amount that's going to transfer to the next generation? What is the amount that we are talking about that's going to transfer to the future generation in Singapore? Can I ask? Guess, make a guess. Say, no, you look very rich to me, come.
$1 trillion more than
How many? How many trillion? How many trillion are you talking about?
15 to 20.
Okay, that's too much. 50 maybe the world. But Singapore alone, 2 trillion. It's not a small amount. 2 trillion is more than Temasek and GIC put together. Will be a tsunami, actually a tsunami of wealth passing over. Okay, so take note of that. So the great transfer is coming in, and this is a 2024 article. And do you agree with me? Every year Singaporeans is getting richer and richer.
Yeah.
Right. So your left and right are all millionaires. Just take note. Okay. All right. So your left and your right are millionaires actually. Okay. So what is estate planning? Now, estate planning refers to the structured process of managing and distributing a person's wealth and responsibility in the event of incapacity or death, in accordance with their wishes, while minimizing family conflict, tax, and legal complication. Okay. So this is jargon. Let me keep it very simple for you all. Now, if you have financial asset, all of us will have financial asset. All right, like make cash in the bank, investments, bonds, shares, or whatever. These are called financial assets. You may be a business owner running a business. Lastly, you may have property, and confirm most of you all will have property, and that is the biggest. Most of the time, that will be one of the biggest asset class that you ever own. All right. Now, you less of your liability, that will be your net worth. So all of us have a certain net worth. Okay, less of your liability, all of us will have a certain net worth. Now, one day, all of us will go for this thing called permanent holiday. The moment we go, we'll never come back again. Anyone exempted from permanent holiday? Don't have, right? Oh, none of us exempted, right? That means the moment you go, you never come back again. All of us have to go that place one. Okay? Alright? So what happened is that now whatever we leave behind for our loved one is called net estate. Okay? Now, without proper planning, your net worth will never be equal to net estate. So what do I mean by that? Let's say in your mind, your net worth, your worth is 5 million. A lot of people thought that my net worth is 5 million, the moment I go, okay, 5 million will be passed over to the loved one. Not true. It depends on how you do your planning. If not done properly, there will be leakages. What are the leakages that we are talking about? One will be debts. If you have debts, you have loans, you have to address. Okay, you have mortgage loan, you have business loan, whatever, you have to pay off this. Next, expenses. Now, what if you invest in property outside Singapore? The legal fee will definitely be higher than Singapore. Okay, so take note of that. There will be expenses that you need to pay off. Example. All right. Next, taxes. Now, if you invest in property in UK, you may be subjected to inheritance tax. Okay, if you invest in US, you may be subject to estate tax. Right, so these are things that a lot of people are not aware when they invest in overseas asset. One now that's very hot topic one is called Japan property. That one, the estate tax is even higher, one of the highest in the world. All right, so people are not aware of it, and they invest in such property, and they are not aware of it. And the moment of their passing, the family members have to address this tax. Okay, and also income tax, your income tax, whatever tax. All right, so these are things that we want to minimize. We want to minimize so that we can maximize the value to pass over to our loved one. Of course, other consideration will be we want to make it easy to transfer. Certain assets is very difficult to transfer, especially overseas assets. Okay. Next, ownership. All right, how you own the asset, how you going to transfer to your loved one. Lastly, more importantly to me, is always about prevent family conflicts. Okay, prevent family. To me, that is the most important. Now, on the right hand side, it's about money, dollar and cents. You have money, you can address this. But this one, prevent family conflicts, is always the most sensitive one, where family fights over usually properties. If you go look at the newspaper, it's always fight over either property or business. Okay, you very seldom hear people fight over cash or whatsoever. It's always property because that's the biggest asset, or business. All right, so it's always this issue. And I don't think any of you all want your family to appear in the newspaper. Okay, I don't think anyone want our family members to appear in the newspaper fighting over what we're going to leave behind. Okay, so when we talk about estate planning, there's two things that's very important to know. Okay, one is testacy, one is intestacy. What do I mean by that? Now, without a will, that means we say someone passed away intestate without a will. With a will, we say someone passed away testate. Do a survey? Can I find out from you all, how many of you have done your will? Can I have a show of hands? Actually, not bad there. Okay, based on Singapore statistic, it's 20%. Here, I think today is like 30%. Okay, here I think about 30%. Okay, so Singapore statistic, 20%. So what will happen is that if you don't have a will, so for those people who don't have a will, the Singapore government has a will for you. Okay, if you don't have a will, the Singapore government has a will for you. And we call this the Intestate Succession Act. Okay, so this here is So if you don't have a will, this will be how your estate will be distributed, all right, based on the Intestate Succession Act. Let me just go through quickly with you this act. So if you don't have a will, if you are married, okay, the first line, the first rule says, okay, before I forget, take note now, it's only meant for non-Muslim. Okay, it's only meant for non-Muslim. And take note at the bottom, the note, it says, include legitimate children, descendant of children, and legally adopted children. Illegitimate child will not be covered under the act. Okay, so if the legitimate child will not be provided or under this act. Okay, so let's start. First rule, rule number 1. If you are married, spouse only, married, no parents, no issue. That means your parents are no around, or you don't have kids, spouse get 100%. Okay, first rule. Next line. Second rule, it says something. Issue only, no parents, no spouse. Issue get 100%. So no parents, no spouse means your parents no more around, all right? And then your parents no more around, you separated, or your spouse has already passed on, only leaving behind kids. So issue whole estate, your kids will inherit it. And the next question, what if your kid is a minor? Then how? Who will handle the money for you, for the kids? So this is another issue that this one will have a bit of problem. Right? So take note of that. Rule number 3, spouse and parents. Spouse get 50, parents get 50. So these are situations where someone is married, okay, it's married, parents still around, all right, don't have kids yet, all right, spouse get 50, parents get 50. Now look at the next slide, the same column, fully to parents if no spouse and issue. This is meant for those people who are single. Okay, if they are single, 100% to parents. All right, so this is what they meant. Next rule, spouse and issue, fully to issue if no spouse. So if you are married with kids, spouse get 50, kids get 50. So the kids share equally 50%. Sorry, which one? Oh, so you are saying, no, which one? Okay, exclude parents. So I'm going to explain later, okay, with an example. All right, now, next rule, brother and sister, no spouse, no issue, no parents, brother and sister share equally. Okay, all right, so no spouse, no issue, no parents, brother and sister share equally. Now, grandparents, no spouse, no issue, issue is actually kids. No spouse, no issue, parents no more around, brother and sister, grandparents share equally. Grandparents share equally, both sides. Now, uncle and aunts, no spouse, no issue, no parents, no brother, no sister, no grandparents, uncle and aunts will share. The last one is an amazing thing. You don't have any relatives, Singapore government will inherit. Alright, but there is every year, take note, every year there's people, alright, pass away without any next of kin, and the asset that they leave behind, the estate they leave behind, end up with the government. Have. Every year also have. CPF, insurance, property. Every year also have. And you end up with a public trustee. You can go and Google. A lot of money there. A lot of money there. So if you don't have anyone to give to, maybe I can give you my name. Okay? Alright, if you don't have anyone to give to, I can give you my name. Alright, there's so many charitable organizations that can. Right, so this is intestate rules. Now let me just show an example. Let's say a married couple with kids. Okay? If the guy were to pass on, alright, based on this situation is rule number 4. Rule number 4 says the spouse will inherit 50%, the kids will inherit the remaining 50%. So they will share equally among the kids 50%. But what happened is that this based on this act, they totally forgotten our parents. Okay? So if you want to provide for your parents, you cannot pass away intestate if you are married with kids. Can you imagine if you are the only child and you pass away intestate, your parents left with nothing, no? Nothing for them. Okay, we come from an Asian society. Alright, we need to take care of our parents. So we need to set aside provision for them. That's why, more importantly, we cannot die intestate. Okay, cannot afford to die intestate if you want to provide for your parents. Right, minimum you need to have a will. Minimum you need to have a will to provide for them. And ISA story, no emotional one. Singapore, you agree with me, we always call it law by law, follow law. Okay, so no emotion one. So there was a case, newspaper, all right, 20009 2nd June Straits Time article. Okay, there was this case, Mr. Chi. All right, there was this gentleman, Mr. Chi. His relationship with his son, Gary Chi, has really soured. They are not in talking terms. They are not been contacting one another. Mr. Chi stayed with his mom in a 3-room Bedok Reservoir HDB. And what happened is that he died intestate. But because he has a child, okay, parents are excluded from it. So nothing for the mother. And you know what the grandson did, Gary Chi? He kicked the grandmother out of the house. And there's nothing the court can do. Okay, because the act says only the son will inherit from the father. Now, if you're Mr. Chi, he needs to have a will if he wants to provide for his mom. Alright, so very sad case. Alright, so take note of such things. Alright, take note of such matters. Okay, now, so let's go into the tools of estate planning. Okay, I'm going to talk about tools. There's basically a few things I'm going to. Alright, the tools that we talk about in estate planning. Number one will be wills, which most of you all will know. Nomination, CPF, and insurance nomination. At the same time, in estate planning, we always talk about using the life insurance. Legal agreement. Legal agreement are agreements, example, family deed. Family deed where we want to distribute something to another family parties who the name are not inside the will. But we want them not to quarrel. Sometimes what we do is we do a family deed. Okay, a family. So we ask everyone come together, the family come together, sign this document, say you all will not fight, you will do this, you will do that. So it's like everyone sumpah and says, let's agree to this. Okay, so people who are excluded can also be given or whatever can be inside there in the family deed. Okay, so these are typical deed that we do for our customers. Agreements, okay, buy-sell agreement, shareholder agreement for business owner. And also IOU, loan agreement. Okay, we have loan agreement between parents and kids. Later, we will share with you one strategy how to protect your asset using loan agreement. Okay. Next, trust. All right, living trust. A lot of people thought it's a very sophisticated instrument, but it's actually very, very simple, and I'm going to share with you all shortly. LPA. Okay. Because of time, I'm only going to share 3 things. Okay, will, LPA, and trust. Okay, these 3 things, and especially related to properties. These are 3 instruments that we always use to actually help people to plan to protect their real estate. Okay, a will. All right, so it's basically a simple document that you use. Right, it's your last document to use to distribute your estate upon someone's passing. All right, so this is a legal document. Okay, now the $1 million inheritance, the wills. All right, so how should someone write a special term in wills to prevent? Now, one of the biggest a common mistake a lot of people do is they write their own will. They go online and download themselves and draft on their own. And these are really big issues because they do not know what they don't know. They are not expert in this area, all right? And then they draft on their own and they create a lot of problems. Hey, not just ordinary people. Okay, not just ordinary. I just quote one example. Our founding father. Okay, you all know who, right? I don't say the name because he's recording, so I cannot say the name. Okay, our founding father. His will got issue, right? Correct. And if I were to the one advising him, if let's say I have the luck to advise him, I will say, sir, you cannot use ordinary fella to be the witness of your will. He used a lawyer, and I think if I'm not wrong, a will administrator to actually sign as a witness of the will. If I'm the one doing it, I will tell him, sir, let's get 2 important fella, VVIP, to be the witness of the will. One of them is the chief judge. Second person is either the president or the deputy prime minister. Cannot be the prime minister because that time his son is the prime minister. Alright, so his son also cannot be the okay. And if these 2 VVIP were to be the witness of his will anyone challenge this will in the court? Okay, but if you were to use such witnesses, okay, these people were high profile position, no one will challenge their will for this kind of special case.